coming up in the next 20 minutes.
Oh, we're still doing that, huh?
You say something?
Never turn your back on family. Get it together, woman. Back to your room, Miles. This is not a podcast week. Gotta love it. That's a bingo. We have standards.
It's a trap.
I'm going to step on the gas. What has the show done to me?
All right, time for the opening.
What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome once again to my little corner here on the internet. I am your host, Ray, aka Sourdough Shonen, and in this video, I'll be sharing you my thoughts and opinions about the anime A Couple of Cuckoos. First off, you might be wondering why I, a grumpy lad who isn't particularly interested in the harem genre, is even reviewing a comedy romance series like this to begin with. Well, the answer is quite simple once I tell you who the original creator behind this title is. You see, the anime is an adaptation of a manga series of the same name, and the mangaka behind that series is none other than Miki Toshikawa, the same person behind Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches, which is one of my personal favorite deep-cut anime rankings I like to give out. Some of you might even remember me praising Yamada-kun way back in the day. After all, Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches was my very first anime review right here on YouTube, and it would seem a majority of you guys really enjoyed the video. Heck, it is still my most liked video to this very day on this channel. So with a person like that, you can imagine I have a lot of personal attachment towards Yamada-kun and the creators behind it. Funny enough though, I didn't even know the existence of A Couple of Cuckoos until somewhat recently when I heard it was getting a new season in 2025. So after hearing that announcement, I just became positively curious what a new work from Toshikawa sensei would look like in 2024. And like any good anime fan would do, I turned on my Crunchyroll account and started marathon the whole 24 episodes that are currently available. And boy, do I have some thoughts about the show. So grab your favorite bento boxes and your fighting sticks, because I'm about to take you for a ride. As per usual, let's start off with the show's synopsis so that everyone is on the same page. Our protagonist here is a 16-year-old high schooler named Sachi Umino. He is a devoted student who spends most of his free time studying and doesn't really have much of a personal life. One of the reasons why Sachi aims to be the #1 student in the school is to help out his family financially. Sachi's family has always struggled when it comes to money. They run a local restaurant together and somehow manage to get by with their small family business. For those who don't know, it is often thought that in order to get a high-paying job in Japan, you need good grades in school, so that way you could get big bucks later on. So in Sachi's mind, if he becomes the #1 student in school, he has a better chance of supporting his mother, his father, and his little sister, Sachi, which is very sweet and puts him in the running for the best son of the year. However, Sachi has another reason to take home the gold into the classroom. It turns out he has a major crush on Hiro Segawa, the current top student in his school. Sachi overhears that Hiro is into smart guys. Knowing this information, Sachi figures if he could take the crown away from Hiro as the school's biggest nerd, he will finally have what it takes to make Hiro fall in love with him. A little naive perhaps, but who isn't during high school? All of this is already a promising start to a series like this. However, I've only just begun to enter the madness that is the show. Enter plot twist number 1. It just so happens that Sachi was accidentally swapped at birth with another baby at the hospital on the same day he was born. Somehow, both families became aware of this fact and decided to meet in person in order to figure out what should be done about this unique situation. Sachi, being a single-minded individual that he is, has very little interest in meeting his birth parents and simply just wants to study and continue to support the only family he's ever known. On the day of the big family reunion, Sachi comes across a girl who appears to be trying to get herself isekai'd. In a panic state, Sachi leaps at the girl trying to save her life. And of course, after copying a feel, anime, Sachi finds out that the girl's name is Erika Amano and that she's only pretending to jump in order to get her parents' attention. Erika herself is going through a bit of a tough time as well. Miss Amano is a spoiled rich girl who is also internet famous thanks to her good looks and her trending Instagram account. They're very different, that's what the lawyers have told me at least. Anyhow, Erika is currently fighting her wealthy tycoon parents because they're forced into an unknown arranged marriage at the young age of 16, which is a real thing that could have happened in Japan just 2 years ago. 2 years ago. It's 2024 Japan, get it together, please, I'm begging you here. Back to Erika's problem. Erika is a very dependent individual and often does whatever her father tells her to do. However, she is desperate to get out of this new marriage situation. So desperate that she blackmails Sachi to pretend to be her boyfriend. Erika figures her parents won't force her into the marriage if she's already in a romantic relationship. So she plays rent-a-boyfriend with Sachi for the afternoon, but her father doesn't buy it one single bit. Shortly afterwards, Erika is picked up to be reunited with her family and is left to her terrible, terrible fate and never to be seen again. Sure. After that crazy afternoon, Sachi finally heads out to meet his real parents for the first time. After greeting his biological parents, Sachi is told by both families that they have come up with the perfect idea to solve their predicament. If Sachi marries the girl he got swapped with at birth, then all will be right in the world. Nobody has to say goodbye to their adoptive parents, and everyone has a chance to learn about their real families too. It's so dumb, it almost makes a little bit of sense. And in true anime fashion, of all the girls in all the towns and all the world, Erika walks into the restaurant. That's right, people. The mysterious fiancé Erika was set up to marry was Nagi all along. Who could have seen that coming? Oh, me. I saw it coming. We all saw it coming. Come on now. After taking all this information in, Nagi and Erika still have no intentions of going through with their parents' wishes. Unfortunately for them, Erika's dad, aka Nagi's real dad, it can be a little confusing, let me tell you, doesn't know the meaning of no. The man buys them $1 million home for both Erika and Nagi to live in and hopes that they will fall in love and get married anyway. So now our two lovebirds begrudgingly start living under the same roof, and us, the viewers, get to watch the madness unfold. Will Daddy Moneybags' plan work? Can Erika adjust her privileged lifestyle to Nagi's simple one? What about our original love interest Hiro? All these questions, and so much more. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, one crazy absurd plot that allows for anime shenanigans to occur. I can't lie to you folks, I was filled with doubt by the end of episode 1 here. This series is a lot to take in, and it demands a high tolerance of the suspension of disbelief. I mean, just think about it for a sec. Off the bat, how do you mix these two babies off to begin with? They are the opposite sex of each other, and their hair colors are completely different from each other, for crying out loud. Didn't the mothers of the milkers have noticed the change? Better yet, how did they even find out their children got swapped almost 1.5 decades later? Some DNA test? None of these questions are ever explored, which I did find very disappointing. I suppose there might be some explanation for all this nonsense way down the line. The show does imply that Richie Rich Dad knows something more than he's letting on. However, I really sincerely doubt that this answer will be worth the wait. Can't we just go back to simpler times with body swapping and mind-controlling witches? You know, something down-to-earth and a little bit believable. While episode 1 made me want to turn off the television, episode 2 reminded me why I enjoyed Toshikawa's writing to begin with. It is full of silly, heartfelt moments. Erika is a spoiled princess from another world and doesn't have any understanding how the real world works. For instance, when Erika comes to Nagi's house to visit for the first time, she is confused where to sit on a typical Japanese home. Instead of sitting on the tatami mats on the floor, she parks herself on the bookcase and thinks it's some kind of chair. A silly mistake, yet I kinda do remember thinking something along those lines when I first started learning about the difference between my fancy LA Western lifestyle and the traditional Japanese way of doing things. Not only did I find this scene to be funny, but it does give you an insight of just how different these two characters are from each other and the different worlds they come from. Another thing I found hilarious in this series was Nagi's daydreams. Nagi is most definitely an introvert and often overthinks things in his head, thus turning some situations into goofy fantasies, which is something I personally do all the time. For example, Nagi is worried Erika won't get along with his parents, aka her real biological parents, because of their forced marriage situation, and of course their simple means of life. He pitches Erika and her folks get into a giant brawl inside the family restaurant. Luckily, all of this is just in Nagi's mind and no tables went flying that day. This kind of humor is all too familiar to me as a fan of the American TV show Scrubs. There, the main protagonist JD would always space out and daydream of the silliest things and make for ridiculous, hysterical situations that I still think about to this very day. If you haven't seen Scrubs yet, do yourself a favor and go binge watch the series on Hulu after this. There, I said it. Are we good now?
Not even close. You still need to promote Heavily Delusion after those cheap jokes from your last review.
At least someone will finally promote their anime content these guys throw in their jail.
You say something?
Nothing, Your Majesty. Back to A Couple of Cuckoos. Not only did I find myself laughing often, I also caught myself getting to the family drama as well. After Nagi's mind fantasies at the family restaurant, it is revealed that Erika was not mad at all, but was in fact crazy nervous about meeting her real parents. She was riddled with anxiety because she wanted to make a good impression and wanted to get to know her real family better. A very touching moment in my opinion. Erika's parents, aka Nagi's adoptive parents, might be a little rough around their edges, but they are good people. Wait a minute. Mother, father, family? Oh my god, this can't be happening. It's not true. It's impossible. You can't have feels in anime. All you're gonna have is punches and boobs. Okay, Ray. You've done this before. You gotta think. Calm down. Relax. Think like Tanjiro. There you have it, people. An animated story from Japan that deals with wholesome family problems. Who'd have thunk? Which is most definitely a huge plus in my book. Honestly, this series is at its best when it focuses on the unique family dynamics. Not only do you have the ex-delinquent parents to think about, there's also the whole awkward sibling situation between Erika and Sachi. I mean, what would you do if you found out you had a lost sibling? Secretly, I think I'd be happy if I had another sibling. Maybe this one won't hide in the room all day playing gacha games like you know who.
Hey!
Back to your room, Miles. This is not a podcast week.
You mean Taco Taco Podcast, where we say the hottest things in anime and video games?
Yes, the same Taco Talk podcast where we get together with our other nerdy friends and family every other Wednesday.
Meaning like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube?
Yeah, all those places.
None of it's an amazing podcast. There's a link down below, right?
Yes, the very same podcasts. Are you done? I'm kind of in the middle of something over here.
My job here is done. Back to my polls.
Apologies, folks. Where was I before that shameless plug-in? Alright, in summary, the family elements made the show interesting and entertaining. The other half of the show's humor comes from its harem situations, which are indeed overused anime ecchi jokes. Oh boy, my favorite. Well, let me see here. In that case, I need to get everything in order. Be right back. Let me just go get my anime bingo card. Let's see, where did I leave it? Over here? No, over here. Maybe it's this. No, not that. Okay, wait. Aha! I found it. All right, folks, get your bingo cards out ready and tell me if you've heard this before. Walking in on people changing clothes? Check. Overcomplicated multiple potential love interests? Check. Characters not wearing underwear for some reason? Double check. What about incest? Yep, that's a bingo. Bingo, ladies and gentlemen, we got it. It was quick and easy, but we got it. Wait. The judges are reviewing the play. What do you mean who can review the play? Who's even reviewing this play? All right, because of the infant swamp on day one, Nagasachi aren't technically blood related, so it's more like falling in love with your stepsister, which is... Nope, that's still bad. That's really, really bad. It's so bad that the judges have confirmed that, yes, the bingo will stand. We have a confirmed bingo, ladies and gentlemen. What do I get? What do I win? You gotta keep reviewing anime shows like this till your dying days. I knew I should have thought that bingo card. In case it wasn't painfully obvious yet, when it comes to the romance part of this title, I was a little less interested. As I mentioned before, I'm not the biggest harem fan in its predictable horniness. Plus, at the end of the day, a good harem show needs to portray all its heroines and make them interesting and worth pursuing, which this anime struggles with sometimes. Erika is easily the only real choice for me here. She's rich, pretty, famous, cosplays, and cares about family. After all, family is the most important thing, and you never turn your back on family. Logically speaking, if Nagi picks Erika, you decide, to be his bride, all the complicated family stuff kind of fixes itself in its own weird little way. Sure, Erika might be a spoiled brat sometimes and isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. However, compared to the flaws of the other two routes, this is a minor downside. Our other option is Sachi, who doesn't even count as a potential love interest for me, even if they are not biologically brother and sister. They have spent all their lives together to think they're actual siblings. I can be an anime gent like any other otaku out there, but professionals, we have standards. Personal preferences aside, Nagi himself even tells Sachi that he will always be her big brother even after he finds out that he might get spirited away by his biological parents in episode 1. Making their relationship a touching, healthy sibling one is a beautiful thing that you don't always see in anime. Don't ruin this for me, show. We got a really nice thing going here. To be fair to the whole brother complex thing, in the beginning the relationship kept more of as an overprotective family member thing and was not romantically motivated. It seemed to me that Sachi was just looking out for her older brother and wanted to make sure whatever girl would pick would be a good match for her brother, which is sweet and nice, and why can't we have more of this and not the other stuff, damn it? However, as the show progressed, this was switched to a wholesome one to maybe I do want to bang my other sibling. It was bad enough Sachi was feeling this way towards her brother. I could even stomach it for a bit. However, when Nagi was started seeing his own sister as a romantic option in episode 12, I lost my shit. She is your sister, man. Don't do this. Just don't do this. You have a choice. There's a choice here. This isn't bloody Game of Thrones. Okay, the fire style isn't really working for me. I need something else. Let's try to put the incest problems on hold for now, and let's take out the last romance option, who is Hiro Segawa. Anyone remember her? Hiro, on paper, has a lot of potential being a charming partner. After all, she is the smartest student in her school. Very nice. She is extremely athletic. I like a girl who kick my ass. And she looks spectacular in her Shrine Maiden uniform. Ooh, Sailor Mars vibes. Gotta love it. There's just one little problem with Hiro. She's probably gonna murder poor Nagi in his sleep. Ooh, deal breaker. I hate to see it. In the beginning, she comes off more as a tsundere or the perfect princess type, just can't do no wrong, Miss Perfect if you will. Yet, by the end of season 1, it becomes painfully clear that she's just a yandere in disguise. You dumb bastard, it's a trap! Even if I was to overlook her yandere tendencies, her actions might even be worse. Early on, Nagi tells Hiro point blank that he has a crush on her and wants to go out with her if he can beat her in the midterms. Something I was actually pleasantly surprised by. Some shows in the genre would try to keep this fact a secret and keep you in cheap suspense. But we were smart here. Bravo. Instead of accepting Nagi's flirtatious challenge straight on, Hiro goes back and forth with vague promises. She tries to justify her wishy-washy behavior because she too has a fiance, and that's why she can't go with Negi officially. Hiro, nor the writers, never go into details about this whole secret lover business. Who knows, they might not even be real. Honestly, when Hiro first revealed that she was engaged to another, I thought she meant she was married to like her job as a shrine maiden. I believe traditionally shrine maidens aren't allowed to date anyone, and if a shrine maiden ever did want to get married, they'd have to give up their duties of being a shrine maiden. Or at least I think that's how that works. This might be pure speculation on my part. Anywho. The worst part about Hiro Nagi's situation is that Hiro keeps telling Nagi that they can't have an intimate relationship, but then she keeps asking him out on several dates. Not one, several dates. Which one is it, lady? Are you in or are you out? This guy clearly isn't head over heels with you and would easily cancel the official wedding to Erika if you just give him the word. He even told you so to your face. You don't get that every day in anime. And yet you're still thinking about it? Get it together, woman. I suppose if I was trying to be fair to Hiro, all these characters basically have the same exact problem. They all simply want to sit on the fence and not actually have to make a choice. Oh, teenagers. Of course, if they actually did do this, the series would be over in a minute. And then what are we gonna watch? Despite everyone having the same exact flaw, I feel like the hero's route is the one that got me the most frustrated, and that's why she's my least favorite choice. Oh god, am I thinking about choosing the sister as the next best choice? What has the show done to me? Speaking about the shortcomings of A Couple of Cuckoos, there really isn't any supporting cast to speak of here in Season 1. It's mostly Nagi's fake mom and dad from time to time, and of course our favorite girls. The closest character to qualify for a supporting role here would be a guy by the name of, Shino Asuma? Who appears in a few episodes, but doesn't do much to be memorable or funny. I mean, I literally had to look up his name on the wiki page just to tell you he sucks. The rest of the supporting characters remain in the background of the school and barely have any speaking lines every 4 episodes or so, which is a true shame. One of my favorite parts about Yamada-kun and the 7 Witches was meeting all the different colorful witches and all the different supporting characters that would end up joining the Supernatural Club. It was great to see Yamada's world expand over time, and I wish some of that happened in this show as well. My remaining thoughts regarding the story and characters in this one will have to be saved for another time, due to late game spoilers. The quick version is, I enjoyed some of the shenanigans and its humor early on in this anime. Towards the second half, not as much. Plus, I was starting to think that the creator was trying to troll its audience with some of its late game plot twists. But we'll see what happens. Stay tuned to Season 2, I guess. After saying all of my gripes, I still do remain slightly optimistic for Season 2, though I'm starting to think that my nostalgic love for Yamada-kun is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for me. Alright, art and animation. For me, the first thing I noticed when it came to A Couple of Cuckoos was its character designs. If I didn't Google who the original illustrator was, I don't think I would have guessed it was the same person that drew Yamada-kun. The designs of the anime came off a little bit more, shoujo-y to me. The girls were often drawn with even bigger eyes and more luscious eyelashes, and that style wasn't really always used in the manga version. If I had to guess, it would seem like the character features in the anime production resembled a little bit closer to the manga volume covers versus the actual comic book panels. Personally, I kind of prefer the art style used in between the book covers. It does remind me more of Yamada-kun after all. What does give me vibes of Yamada-kun more in Cuckoo was its use of hair colors for its female characters, from Erika's subtle red hair to Hiro's braided purple hair. The artists weren't afraid to ascend beyond the realms of reality, and I appreciate the anime for staying true to its original colors. The animation A Couple of Cuckoos was a collaboration between 2 studios. First is Synergy SP, who was responsible for some seasons of Major and Initial D. Thankfully, there are no janky CG cars here, and sadly there is no amazing Eurobeats in the soundtrack either. I'm gonna step on the gas! The other studio, Shin-E Animation, are most known for the work on Togagi-san and The Dangers in My Heart, which I've heard good things about both shows, so yeah, that would make sense that they would work on a similar show in this genre. I thought the show did move well, considering it was just a comedy romance series, and I'm pretty sure and hoping no one was expecting levels of like Demon Slayer or GTK happening here. This is not that kind of show. I did notice there was 1 or 2 animation hiccups, like Nagi suddenly shifting in time right there. That was still weird. I had to double check, and nope, that's the broadcast animation. And I suppose sometimes the streets of Japan did seem abandoned, but I don't know, maybe it's just that time of day everyone has at work? I don't know. Yet at the end of the day, my anime expectations were met in the series. While I was content with A Couple of Cuckoos art and animation, the soundtrack and voice acting was a little bit underwhelming for me, to be honest. To be clear, neither were bad, per se. Maybe I was looking for some stand-up performance or some really memorable song, but it just never really came to me. Acting-wise, I actually did prefer the English dub for this one. One of the big reasons for that, I imagine, is because of hearing jokes in your native tongue tends to be more funny. I think the dub writers did an excellent job adapting the original script and made some needed modifications for a Western audience. I highly recommend checking out in case the show doesn't click with you at first. Brilliant idea, Ray. Praise an English dub on YouTube. What's the worst that could happen? This guy watches dubs and not subs? He's not a real anime fan. Click, 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 click. If you're a sub person, the Japanese track works well enough, though I can't help but feel some of the casting decision or maybe the directing hindered the overall performance a little bit. I did recognize some of the popular seiyus in this production, and I know how talented they are given the right project and character. Of course, I don't actually speak Japanese, so take this all with a giant spoon of sea salt. Or should I say umino salt? you get it? Salt? Like the family's last name? Never mind. Switching over to the original soundtrack here, the music score in this production is just as memorable as its supporting cast. Too harsh? Too harsh. I mean, the music does work in each scene. Big pauses in between notes with string instruments to convey some sort of awkwardness, flutes scaling up and down rapidly to depict silly moments, soft piano melodies for times when characters are reflecting and thinking about their choices. This is all solid stuff and makes sense, but just at the end of the day, the soundtrack didn't really stand out to me, and apparently I'm not the only one because when I was trying to make this video and put some original soundtrack for you to listen to so you can at least hear what I'm talking about, I couldn't even find it because no one bothered putting it up on the internet. If fans aren't celebrating their favorite anime by breaking music copyright laws throughout the whole world, then I think it's safe to say the music here isn't a banger. The good news here is that the opening endings in Cuckoos are all pretty good. Opening one is a little bit more artsy-fartsy with a big slow build-up between our two main leads at the moment when they first met each other in episode 1. The chorus has the cast being silly and has them showcase their different personalities. It even has my favorite drunk cameraman who is constantly shaking the camera trying to figure out what the hell is going on. All of these cliches are things I enjoy in an anime opening. Ending 1 even goes a little hard with its Sin City vibes, trying to use mostly a black and white aesthetic with its small pops of color every so often. All of our ladies are dressed up in punk rock outfits, which I definitely don't mind seeing, and it all makes sense because the music is supported with upbeat electric guitars. So, Nana fans rejoice? Opening 2 is arguably the more catchy song between the two openings. It is done by Sumaka, the same group who worked on the song for Watakoi, one of my favorite anime openings of all time. You should check out the show as well if you haven't. It's always nice to get a new song from an artist that you know and love. Visually, maybe it's not as engaging as OP1, but I did appreciate that they did change out the opening and didn't play the same opening for all 24 episodes. Not everyone could pull off Sailor Moon. Ending 2 is a safe choice for a harem anime. Acoustic guitars accompanied with your favorite waifus. I did like the fact that the characters were drawn with a little bit of a softer brushstroke and did resemble more of the original character designs from the manga, which is something I complained about, so there you go, I finally got it. And with that, let's wrap this thing up before I lose my voice. The story in A Couple of Cuckoos was a mixed bag for me. I love the times when it focused on the unique family dynamics. The world and characters worked better for me when some things were platonic. Yes, I did roll my eyes at the typical harem cliches, but I did find myself laughing at its humor more often than not, so that's something. The romance was pretty much one option or nothing for me, because I don't want to think about some of those other choices. There was some character growth, though it moved like molasses. Some supporting cast was non-existent. The character designs were different from the original source material, but didn't stray too far from what I was looking for. The animation was up to par to my expectations for a comedy romance series. The English dub was a slam dunk for me, and the OST will never make it into my CD collection. The opening endings, however, are solid stuff and worth your time. When it is all said and done, did A Couple of Cuckoos live up to my expectation as a Yamada-kun and Seven Witches fan? And would I recommend it to my other anime fans out there? No, I would not. The biggest reason for my decision, though, is because the series is still ongoing. As I get wiser in my old age, the endings and stories become a huge factor to my enjoyment level. Some things take a while to get going, but are worth the wait. Look at Steins Gate and Clannad, for instance. Other titles start off amazing, but then fall bloody Mount Fuji by the end of it. Insert your favorite summertime rounding or Promised Neverland joke right here. Having said that, do I feel like I wasted my time watching season 1 of A Couple of Cuckoos? Surprisingly, no. I never felt like I was torturing myself by watching the show, nor was I really frustrated while working on the script. Maybe voice acting wise, yes. At this very moment, the show just kind of falls somewhere in the middle for me, which for some of you out there, that might be a fate worse than death. For people who think this way, I have breaking news for you. Not everything can be a home run. If every MLB player could go 40-40, it would no longer be a feat to accomplish because everyone is simply doing it. Oh yes, I am just that shameful of a Dodger fan that I will sneak in an Ohtani reference whenever I can. A Couple of Cuckoos Season 2 is scheduled to release sometime next year, and there's a pretty good chance I'm going to check it out of curiosity. Hopefully, it'll age like a fine bottle of wine, and not go undrinkably bitter like a cheap lager. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, mission accomplished. Thank you so much for getting this far into the video. Sincerely, if you are watching this, you are like of the 1%er guys, because most people click out after the first mean comment. Click, 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 click. I did try to dive a little deeper into spoilers than usual, and I did attempt to try my best to be amusing and not so serious, and hopefully that will show in the final video. I guess you guys are gonna have to tell me down below. If this is your first check on my channel, hey, how's it going? And if you want to do me a solid and you actually made it this far in the video, then there's a good chance you might actually be willing and interested to hit that like and subscribe button down below. I can't begin to tell you how important those two little things are here on YouTube, especially for us small creators out there. It's free and it's easy to do, so please consider doing that on your way out the door. While you're scrolling down there, let me hear your thoughts down below about A Couple of Cuckoos in the comment section. I do in fact read them. Yes, even the mean-spirited ones. If for some reason you wanted to see me choke live on the World Wide Web, then go over to my Twitch TV channel and follow me there as well. Stop by and say hello, and we could talk about anime, and you could watch me get a lot of game over screens. What's there not to like? If you're into podcasts, please consider giving Taku Taku Podcast a listen. I did show this earlier, but I truly believe we're doing something special over there. If you're a social media person, you can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram. I do try my best to update at least once a week or so, and give people a little insight of what I'm working on behind the scenes, and of course just things I'm doing in my everyday life. Finally, if by some miracle you are still here, you are a real one, and you get my biggest thanks there is to give. Even if you did pass halfway through this video on your phone. The algorithm doesn't know any better, and I thank you nonetheless. Before I go, I will point you in the direction of my review from Yamada-kun, which is from 9 years ago. And boy, have things changed since then. The only thing that's recognizable is maybe this annoying voice. And finally, with all that said and done, whew, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll hear from you in the near future. Until then, laters, people.